It's 2035. You post a video of your dog on Instagram. Seconds later, after you post your dog, you get 20 likes, 50 likes, 100 likes. You start to get comments on top of comments on top of comments. Seconds later, you get a comment from Sarah saying, "Oh, cute doggy," smiley face. Mark says, "That shit was so funny, man." Lisa says, "Nice dog." You get all this attention, and you even get messages from people, but who knows if these are real people or are they just AI bots? Hello, everybody, and today I want to talk about the dead internet theory. And I want to come from a place where I started out as an AI content channel. My most popular video to this day is 100% AI made. The voice was AI. The editing was me, but the voice was AI. And this was during the start of ChatGPT, and it got a lot of views. It might be the reason why you're watching this video today. And I just have a thing about this prevalence of AI and companies constantly wanting to put AI and for their interests, because it boosts, or it claims to boost, the amount of people that can interact, but it's not real interaction. I'm sure you've seen or you have gotten messages, if you're in a dating app, messages of women that do not exist. Same on Instagram. And I'm sure if you're on Twitter, you see a bunch of, people responding that has no relation whatsoever to the thing that was actually posted. And I think this is a prevalent theory that is popping up a lot, and we're going to be exploring it and why it is destructive from an AI slop channel. So anyway, sit back and relax. Not a lot of editing today, but hopefully there will be some vibes instead. So thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Get something to drink. Crack open a cold one if you want, and just sit back and relax while we explore the dead internet theory. So what is the core concept of the dead internet theory? This theory suggests that a significant portion of the internet traffic, interaction, and content created is mainly going to be generated by bots, AIs, rather than humans. Some people claim that the dead internet theory is already a case, and it's been already the case for quite some time, while others are still holding out hope that it hasn't come yet, and it will never come. And then some other people, which is more like me, that it hasn't really happened yet to the extent that we're going to see, but it is going to come in the future. The dead internet theory is going to come eventually. It claims that the internet has become dominated by purely automated systems, leaving the humans disconnected from the online world, which is sort of a paradox, because the reason why the internet and all these social medias were created was not to put everybody in their own little box, having their own little algorithm. It was actually to connect humans, because before internet, people, the general means of how people got information and their media and their news was through the TV. And now you have content created for any type of person, particularly tailored to anybody. And that's kind of the future that the dead internet theory prevails, is that in the future, everything will just be AI generated, and will be AI generated tailored for the specific user that's watching it. So no longer a human connection there. What are the main key claims? These are the rise of bots coming in online. There has been a drastic increase in bot activity over various different platforms, filling up online spaces with automated actions instead of human input. There's been a meme going on for a couple of times now that is, As an AI generated bot, I can't respond to the message that you put in, and that has been included in various different, Amazon posts, not just Amazon posts, but also on Twitter posts, on replies. It has been there since the dawn of ChatGPT. You've seen it. Bots are said to amplify online trends. The bots are creating the online trends, hijack conversations, and sometimes even manipulate voting patterns in digital polls. This is the other extent of the dead internet theories, that it could one day, or has already, made voting, no longer a human activity. It's bot based. And you can kind of consider this, we actually have to have a human person who votes. There's like an ID thing. Well, that is true. But let's say if you think that some candidate is already going to win and there's no point voting for the opposite party. Let's say if Mayor McBurger is running on an election and is using these bots saying that he will get 90% of the votes, and he says this, constantly, messages under, I'm going to vote for him. And it seems like all the messages under Mayor McBurger, did I say Mayor McBurger? Oh, I'm going to vote for Mayor McBurger. That would be the reply. The other reply would be, oh, Mayor McBurger 2025. Constantly having this. If you vote for Mayor McTaco, and Mayor McTaco doesn't have as much of these bots, then, you will probably not vote for Mayor McTaco. It will be a useless vote. You won't vote for her because you already know that Mayor McBurger is going to win. And that could be entirely fabricated. But there's more than this, than purely bots, but also AI-generated content. AI is increasingly used to provide text, images, and videos, making it difficult to distinguish between humans and machine-generated content. Platforms like YouTube, Reddit, other social medias are reportedly flooded with AI-created materials that mimic human or human-like creations, behaviors, and creativity. This is a case with YouTube. It's been in place, but YouTube now has a feature for YouTubers to create their own thumbnails. The YouTube creates the thumbnails themselves with an AI. It hasn't really worked, because I think that in order to create a genuine piece, a good thumbnail piece, you need to be a human. I don't think an AI can do it yet. There'll be a couple of things missing, but maybe down the line, it will help with that. Platforms are filled with AI-created materials that mimic humans. Manipulation of public opinions. The same thing, as I kind of said before, bots and AI are generated content allegedly to employed to sway public opinion, spread false misinformation, influence trends and political outcomes. It can reply and comment things to promote a specific party, specific set of ideas, or a specific brand. Now, we can go deeper with the government. Some versions of the theory extend to the realm of government involvement, with claims suggesting that the state actors are controlling narratives and suppressing genuine discourse by using bots and AI. And they already pretty much do this. This is the whole idea of censorship. This is something that is not talked a lot about by your favorite content creators and all your friendly little faces. But there are certain words they cannot say on YouTube, and they don't specifically, let's say, ban your video directly, but a combination of certain words in a certain area will lead your video, or this is at least the theory, because there has been no real proof of this, and YouTube has not really claimed this, but if you say some words like, corn, but not corn, but with a P, when YouTubers say something disgusting like, oh, I'm gonna go unalive somebody, and then specifically in Minecraft, that is a sort of word of censorship. And this is governed by bots. If you've played the game Marvel Rivals, which has a part stake in China, it's very big in China. If you mention anything about free Taiwan, it will do a very similar thing to, let's say, if you say a swear word in most video games now, it'll put a bunch of stars saying you can't say that, and it'll suppress you. It won't let you say this. You can't say this. This is hate speech. You can't mention this. In our video game, you can't mention anything about Taiwan. You can't mention anything about Tiananmen Square, things like that, right? This is a form of control that the government can use. And just imagine this on an AI, on a bigger scale. Stalin's wet dream was to do this. He couldn't do this because it was human people who were censoring humans. Human censoring humans is a lot more difficult than, let's say, I don't want these specific words in my text. Stalin's wet dream is having an AI that can shadow ban or ban directly or ban with the little stars like in Roblox and Marvel Rivals anything that they don't want to say. If YouTube, you can't mention anything about Taiwan in China. If I posted a video on the Chinese servers, the Chinese version of YouTube, and if I said something, oh, I love Taiwan, it's my favorite country, they wouldn't like that. And it would be either completely banned or shadow banned. Okay. Now, what are the evidences of this? Increasing bot traffic. Reports and research indicates a significant rise in bot traffic, particularly affecting search engine results, SEO, social media, engagement, and online comments. Many users have noticed an influx of repetitive, meaningless content on all forms. You've seen this. I'm sure you scroll around on YouTube, which a bunch of shit made with an AI voice and a clearly AI title. No real human thought is behind this. The problem is why it's not as much is that because human content on YouTube is a lot more engaging because it's real and there's a real difference of opinions there, and that's what makes it great. That's what makes human content better, is that there's actually a human thing involved there. Somebody has thought up something there. But if you want to make garbage content, the Watch Mojo shit, that can be easily replaced. AI content example. AI content such as articles, videos, descriptions, social media posts are becoming ubiquitous and often indistinguishable from human-made content. Some platforms have reported challenges in distinguishing real users from bots. Generally, Gen Z and our generation is a lot better to identify bots than AI-generated content. But I just had a message from my mom, a Jordan Peterson clip. It wasn't Jordan Peterson talking; it was just him talking over some text. And I read it, and I've read it I had to see it a couple times because I was kind of doubting myself, and it was AI. You could have clearly told that it was AI that she sent it to me, but she didn't know it was AI. It's the sort of same thing that, you see all these crazy, I don't want to use the Lord's name in vain, but our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, appearing on Facebook posts of clearly AI-generated content. A little girl painting the image of Jesus Christ, in sand, and it being this clearly amazing thing when it's clearly fake. To anybody, who's a Gen Z sort of millennial person who grew up on the internet, they know the difference. But a boomer who's not attuned, who thinks changing one HDMI 1 to HDMI 2 is like a crazy thing, that type of person, which, bless them, they know a lot more about VCRs or whatever the fuck they had back in the day. They know a lot better about that, but they don't know about how AI works, we know how AI works, and we know what are the consistent elements that AI has in order to distinguish it. But old people really can't. And this is really bad when it comes to social media manipulation. Bots can play a role in manipulating narratives, in manipulating videos. Let's say if I posted a video right now when I went on some bot thing and I paid some bots to, boost my videos. This doesn't work really long term, but let's say like if it did eventually, if we're going down this timeline, I could pay some bots or whatever, and I would say, I want 10,000 views. I want 1 million views on my video, and I'd have to pay this amount of money. Or maybe I couldn't get the views because that would be too hard, but I could, let's say, I could pay people to comment because that's something that they can actually do. Like a bot could actually do that, continuously just comment. And then eventually that would boost me up in the algorithm, right? This could be a thing that actually happens and boosts a role. And the extent of how far this can go is insane, how far it can go. Some theorists believe that the use of bots in X, formerly Twitter, has led a rise into spammy or irrelevant content, removing the quality of the site. Now, there is a good thing. There is a silver lining to the dead internet theory and to bots, is that bots at this point can't really say something real, can't really say an opinion. They just say generally like random shit. Like ChatGPT is great and everything. It's great to summarize articles, but it can't create something really beautiful, I think, in itself. I haven't seen a piece of content made properly with AI that is good. I've seen shit that is impressive, but I haven't seen something that is good. I haven't seen a Steven Spielberg type post. I haven't seen I think David Lynch died not too long ago type video. I haven't seen that. I've seen, at best, I think it's sort of a trailer with moving images, but it's still like is not good, right? Nothing really good that moves anybody has been created by AI. Okay, now we're going to go over some criticisms of the dead internet theory. What could be some critiques supposing this theory? Critiques argue that the theory oversimplifies the broader issue impacting internet, such as the role of algorithms and platform designs in shaping online experiences. They claim that most AI content is AI generated, overlooks the real complexity of the interactions between humans and machines on the internet. Kind of goes with my point, is that this sort of argument it's much more complex than that. We shouldn't be as afraid as this. AI is just a tool. Those are the types of arguments that you'll find against this. And I don't necessarily disagree. I think when the TV came and when certain technologies came, everybody was afraid at some point in the past about what this is going to do to jobs. Technology was going to make jobs, harder to get for certain people. But what has actually happened is that jobs are now different. They're much more thought-based jobs as we had back in the day. Not to say, let's say when the big tractor came, a lot of use of, people who did the fields, the hose workers, the field workers. I don't know why the fuck did I say hose? I meant like people who used hose. That was very weird. I'm sorry. People who tended the field, farmers. Usually there would be a person who picks up the grass one by one, but then different stuff came, like the hoe, like is it a scythe? A scythe. I sound like a fucking idiot influencer. Anyway, what came after that is the tractor. And you can say, oh, this took away jobs, but I would argue that it actually just sort of shifted jobs other places. Less farmers were needed, but we needed more people to make the tractors. Once, robots could do that, we needed more people to design the tractors, shit like that. And whenever you say, oh, AI is going to take away jobs. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, by the way. I just want you to remember this is the same sort of feeling that people had when other technologies came. Like, it is the same feeling. I'm not saying that I genuinely think that AI could do a lot of bad, but you have to still recognize, how history has proceeded, and just keep this in mind. This is kind of a little joke. I think Ronald Reagan said this joke, and hopefully I don't butcher it. So there's one communist, and he has a bunch of workers, and they are digging with shovels. They are digging a pipeline. They're digging a pipeline. You see a bunch of 50 workers digging a pipeline, and then a capitalist comes in and says, "Why aren't you using a better piece of equipment? We have machines that could take 10 of your workers and do the same job. This piece of machine that only one person really needs to operate could be worth 10, 20, 30 of your workers." And then the communist said, "Well, if this happens, all these people would be out of jobs. I'm creating jobs with this." And then the next day, the capitalist comes in, and he comes in with a big bag of spoons, and he drops the spoons in front of the communist and says, "You could hire 1,000 people. 1,000 people could get jobs, and they could do the same jobs for it with the spoons." So this is sort of a joke with, progress that comes in, is that maybe AI could just make us more productive, and then we could work in other fields. That is the logic behind that. I think behind the argument against it. A lack of real concrete evidence. I wrote this down, but I think it's bullshit. I think there is some real concrete evidence that this is happening. You could argue that it's not as big as people say, but I do think that a significant part of the internet is AI driven. It's just, you see it too much. And to say that there's a lack of concrete evidence is just stupid. It's there. You see the AI thumbnails. I bet if you scroll down enough, you'll see some thumbnails. You'll see some shit that is clearly AI based. I'm sure of it, even if you scroll down now. If you don't believe me, go onto Google and type in cat and scroll down and tell me that you don't see AI made shit. Everybody has received, this happens at least once, maybe once every 2 months. You'll have a girl or a shitty company that's clearly an AI bot messaging you saying, "Oh, I'm kind of shy, but I just wanted to message you." And then you message the person, and then it's some fucking constitutional length speech about how poor she is or whatever. "I need some money. I'll give you money later." That type of shit. And what could be the implications of this theory as bot activity and AI generated content becomes bigger? The trustworthiness of an online information is at risk. Genuinely, to get good, nuanced information that tells you every side of the story, you need a professional looking person. But then some other guy with an AI little voice could make a professional looking video with just bullshit, leading skepticism to authenticity of interaction and content. Users may feel disconnected from, these are the implications, the bad implications that it could be. Users may feel disconnected from genuine discourse. And this is something that a lot of people feel nowadays is one of the biggest problems of our time, is loneliness. People feeling more and more lonely. Everybody had loneliness, but it's never been as bad as it is now. And if you're feeling lonely right now, everybody feels lonely, I suppose. But if you're feeling that extra bit of loneliness, then I pray for you, and I hope you find some real friends. Hopefully you find a good group of guys, a good group of gals, a good, nice group. Just keep fighting. But that's a read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I recommend that. It's a good book for business, but also to make friends. I suggest that. But anyway, that's beyond the point. People feel disconnected from genuine discourse, and they are genuinely questioning whether they're having even a conversation with a real person. Am I talking to a real person online? Am I arguing with a real person online? Because that matters. Human debate matters to make ideas better. You know, some of the best advice I've gotten was through hate comments, especially hate comments that have a part of truth in them. You discover a little bit more about yourself through a little bit of that hate, and it hurts, but there is something there, and just take it as you go. But if you're not even having, if it's not real, if it's a fake hate, you know, Trump says fake media, but if it's fake hate, then what's the real point? Why even talk to somebody online? Why even debate somebody if you don't know if they're real, right? And same shit with a video. Sometimes I can't tell if the video, it takes me, even myself, a person who uses ChatGPT from time to time, a person who knows this online shit, I don't know if this, sometimes even myself, a person, you know, Gen Z person who goes on, you know, is a social media guy and shit like that, I can't tell if some videos are AI generated, or it takes me a little longer to know if this shit is AI generated. So just imagine, you know, like I said, the person who gets amazed after you change HDMI 1 to HDMI 2, you know, you're older people, we love them, they're great, and they, you know, they have done their time or whatever, but it's impossible for them to know. So it's the real problem, I think, is human connection. Like I said, corporate influence and control. Some proponents of the theory believe that a large tech corporation are using bots and already using AI to dominate online spaces and suppressing any dissenting voices. Like I said, once again, Stalin's wet dream. Stalin's wet dream. He sleeps and he couldn't even imagine a world where a government could use or censor words just like that. Everybody's on the internet, pretty much. The average report is about 4 hours a day for, you know, most people, I would say. Try to make it less than that, but for most people, it's just the case. It is 4 hours a day. Imagine having 4 hours a day where you can suppress and put up wherever you want. I mean, we all hear great things about the Chinese TikTok. Apparently it's very educational and shit like that. That's the type of shit that you hear, and it is true. The Chinese TikTok, when I'm talking about Chinese TikTok, I don't mean the whole app in itself. I mean, in China, they have a different version of TikTok where the algorithm is sort of half and half made with the government, and they can sort of put what they think is good, meaning like a Chinese kid studying, a girl doing the ballet, not in any like sort of sexual way. I don't know why I even had to fucking say that. I mean, a girl doing the ballet, you know, dancing and everything like that. Very wholesome things. You know, a choir, I guess not a choir, but like a group of children singing the Chinese national anthem. 借我飘飘冰风烧, you know, that type of shit. That's their algorithm, right? And to be able to have that sense of propaganda to people is fucking insane. Stalin's wet dream. Same shit with the other side of the coin, the capitalistic wet dream. Who's the Jordan Gecko. Jordan Gecko, Greed is Good. Wall Street, the movie, comes the main character from that. You know, if you're more of a Gen Z guy, the same sort of, it's a guy in a movie who says greed is good and he's just this staunch capitalist. His wet dream would be, how the fuck do I make everybody agree with my political message, agree with what my company believes, the company is king, that type of shit. A corporate takeover of the internet prioritizes profits over genuine user-created content. That's very scary. And the user-generated content, rather the, you know, I think you've seen this a bunch of times before, but the shit that companies like to put out is just, there's once in a while you get a good ad, but most of the time it's cancerous. It's extremely cancerous. It's extremely cringe. It's supposed to be this nice and hopeful thing. The shit that companies make nowadays is so fucking bad. All the ads, all if we lived in a world where corporations run fucking social media and those were the only people who create it, it would just be pure dog shit. Because the thing is that these corporate overlords, what they imagine YouTube, what they imagine TikTok, what they imagine Instagram being, is not the algorithm that I think most of you see. What they imagine is a dog, like happy. Like what they imagine the algorithm being is on YouTube and on TikTok is a Jimmy Fallon clip. After that, it's a day in the life of a movie influencer. After that, it's the cat that stomps on the ground. Like, that's what they imagine. Like, go open up just for fun. Do this with any social media that you use. YouTube is probably my favorite. Create a new account or just sign in as a guest and just see the front page shit that is spewed to you. Like, that's what these corporations think these algorithms are. And we know that there's a much more deepness. There's a lot of genuinely great content out there. You just got to find it. The same thing with YouTube. And with Instagram and TikTok. I don't use those websites as much, but I know with a shadow of a doubt that there is some genuinely deep stuff there. But if a corporation runs it and just has this AI fucking algorithm that sucks ass, it'll just be cancer. AI, this is the other one. AI as an entity. AI as a living, breathing entity. And before we talk about this, a lot of people, this is the sort of theory that people put out, the pro AI people. We're going to go down a little scarier route right now. The sort of pro AI people, I think I said that 2 times now, I'm going to say it for a 3rd time. The pro AI people believe that, the human, at first we were nothing. At first it was just lightning hit a rock and then, evolution happened. We were fish, and then some retarded fish climbed onto sand, climbed onto ground, and then that retarded lizard or whatever had sex with another retarded lizard, and like the South Park bit, and then that retarded lizard did something and become a mammal, and that mammal fucked another mammal, then that monkey fucked a monkey, and then the monkey fucked so much that it just humans created, right? Like, that's what we believe. We started from a rock, and then the process of life formed, right? It's not actually what happened with it, but in reality, I think it's photoplankton, and then that created some sort of bacteria, and then over billions and billions of years, life created, but it's this long process, right? The valuation of AI is that AI is going to be that super intelligence. AI is the next step of human evolution. It is the super mutant, the next form of human evolution. We created it. We needed to be there in order to create AI. So we should disregard ourselves and view AI as a more superior, intelligent being. The theory also entertains that the idea AI is evolving beyond its current capacities and eventually develop its own self-awareness and subtly shape internet culture, but not just internet culture, because the internet is becoming now our dominant culture. How do you get your information? Mainly through the internet. How does even your family get the information? Sometimes it's through Fox, sometimes it's through CNN, sometimes it's through your media, sometimes, here and there, they might read a journal. You might even read a journal, you might be able to read a book, but the main source of information that most people are getting, at least in the rich, developed Western world, or even, Japan and other places too, but we're going to mainly talk about the ones that we know, which is, hopefully that you're speaking to this, you live in some sort of rich country, that being somewhere in Europe, or somewhere, in North America, somewhere even in South America, maybe somewhere in Asia, or you at least are in a part of a community that understands or values the English, Western traditions, because if not, you wouldn't be watching as far into this in English. So you evaluate on some extent, and you are part of a little bit of that culture, but that culture is mainly internet, I would argue. You have movies here and there, but what do really people talk around in your school? They talk about memes. They talk about, Jake Paul, a vlogger, used to be a Vine creator. TikTok before TikTok. Actually, TikTok before TikTok was Musical.ly, but Musical.ly before Musical.ly, which was Vine, which was these very short 7 seconds videos, and he got popular off of that. That's where he got his fame. Same with KSI. Same with Mr. Beast, who is the biggest, I would say, who is the biggest figure of Gen Z? I would argue it's Mr. Beast. He got his fame through YouTube. This is often, and if AI can influence this and can, influence this, that means that AI is creating its own culture. That means it harvests its own information, because AI, if you don't know, it harvests information all over the globe, all pages rather, and it uses that information to create something new. But what if it creates its own information? It's its own self-harvesting being. It consumes and it takes what it's consumed. It's almost like you shitting, and you shitting creates, you eat that shit, and that shit sustains you, and you become bigger, and you grow like a little big boy with that shit. AI life forms, right? It becomes its AI life form. What's the other sort of thing that what's this general sort of conclusion rather? Theorists claim that algorithms and bots are used not to manipulate content, but harvest and manipulate users' data to influence behaviors and consumption patterns. AI, bots, algorithms make you buy, make you consume. The theory suggests that the internet's algorithms are designed not to facilitate open discourse, which they are not. I don't think the internet originally was for that. It was for that at some point. Open discourse, we can still have open discourse to some extent, but we can't stray too far from the path. We can stay in our little box of human discourse. Like, there are guidelines. Like, you can't say you're a Nazi. You can't say some life is better than the others, right? Which I'm not arguing for. I'm just saying we can't push past that, right? Most people, if I started saying one life form, the blue-haired people are above other types of people, I would probably get banned, right? I would probably get, as soon as somebody on YouTube, as soon as somebody reports it, I would get banned, right? Like, there's certain things you can push forward. Like, the most right-wing person would say something like, we need to preserve our culture, but he would never go far enough saying a full eugenics, or anybody real would not go past that. And I'm not saying you should go past that. I'm just saying we can't in our society, because it's not good for the people at YouTube. We can't go past that, right? There are certain things on both sides of the spectrum, right? You can't go far right, you can't go far left, right? It's not open discourse. It's not really, and I'm not arguing for open discourse. I'm just saying it's not. It's just not. You can't hear what a Nazi thinks, and you can't hear what a total commie thinks. Actually, you can. I think you can hear what a commie thinks. I don't think you can go. What can you not hear from? Like, from an anarchist, I suppose. You can't really hear from there. Which was always the case. There has always been guidelines in our society. That's just how we work. We operate with certain guidelines. You can be weird, but you can't be too weird. You can listen to Brat, but you better not start listening to, you can't start listening to Chris Chan and make that your person. You can listen to Brat, you can listen to Aphex Twins, you can be into that shower core nonsense, but you can't listen to fucking Chris Chan. You can't be a brony. You'll get excluded from society, right? And let me reiterate this once again. Those guardrails are there for a reason. That's just how humans operate. We can't have a total open discourse. It would just be disgusting. It would be pump.fun. Do not look up what is pump.fun, by the way. And you've looked it up and you're shocked and you're scarred for life. Now, I'm sorry. But yeah, you can't look up this is not pump.fun. It's not a fucking, anybody can post whatever they want, right? There needs to be guardrails. But we need to, and I think this is what we need, is that we need to know, the people need to set up the guardrails, and not just this random billionaire Elon Musk. He can't set up the guardrails for the people. I don't know if you agree with Elon Musk politically or not. You know, you could be totally against him in different areas, but he said he was going to make this as open as possible, and I'm really angry from the left's perspective. I don't think that the left can properly express themselves on X, and I think that's a problem. And I don't think a certain subsection of the right-wing people, you know, the people who are against all this, I don't want to get to the whole thing, but the right had a sort of schism, and that is about visas for immigrants. You can look it up, HB1 visas, Elon Musk, look it up on online or whatever. That's not the point, is that he put bans against people against immigrant visas, right? And we have to discuss, like, what are we really fighting for here? Like, what are we? I think that the best thing is when people talk and people come face to face. I don't think banning people outright is good, but I think still we need those guardrails. Anyway, it's not set up. The internet, or now the internet's algorithm, is not set up for open discourse, but to extract valuable data, users' data from corporations. And if you don't think your data is being extracted and can be used against you, why do you think whenever you open up a website, they ask for your fucking cookies? Like a fucking Girl Scout? Or rather, yeah. They ask for your cookies. Why is it even named cookies? It should be named something else, because cookies sounds like nice and wholesome. It should be called your data. What are you doing on it? It shouldn't be called fucking cookies. It's nice cookies. Give me your cookies. Like, that sounds very wholesome, but it's not a wholesome thing. It's your fucking data. It's used for you against your other nefarious purpose down the line to sell you something later, right? It's used for their stats. It's used to see what kind of algorithm are we going to pull next. So this is used to your data. It furthers corporate and political agendas. That's what algorithms are for. The corporation of YouTube on this, or a political agenda of another person. Okay. So to conclude, while the internet, the dead internet theory is provocative on the digital landscape, I was about to say it still, that's what I wrote in the script, it still remains speculative. No, I think it's here. It's just depending on the degrees of which you think it's here. And it really taps into concerns about the growing dominance of AI, bots, and algorithms to control over the online world. And we should really be alert about this. There is a modern disillusionment with the internet, and this is where we're going to conclude on. A lot of people now feel this sort of Ted Kaczynski, the non-brain rot version of Ted Kaczynski would be a cottagecore returning to offline. And this is through every single aspect, through, like, let's say self-improvement. Just get off online, it's ruining your life. Through more of an artistic lens. Don't consume what's online, consume what's really there. It's been there for thousands of years. You know, read old books. Through a more business perspective, maybe businesses that are real are better. And I think this is a genuine take to have, is I think that AI and online is good to learn and shit like that, but real reality is so much better. And this is where we're going to lead off to a positive note, is that the AI is great and it is a good invention, but nothing really compares to the beauty that you will see outside, to the beauty that you will see, you know, in some beautiful artistically done buildings, in beautifully artistically done, you know, paintings that just kind of move you in some way. And yes, you can see them online, but you can see a better sense of how it was done through reality, but also through nature. Nobody is going to be immersed in wonder by some AI image, but you are going to be immersed in wonder if you go out on a hike and you see the fucking mountains and you sort of see yourself. I'm actually kind of small. I'm not this big hotshot guy. Even if I do, you think you have some value, and I think everybody has value on this earth, but it sort of brings you down. And if you don't believe me, if you think, okay, I'm going to find my happiness online with my Discord buddies, I suggest you look at a pool of water, either a lake, if you have a puddle nearby, if you have a river. Most cities do have some sort of a river. A pool, a pool where you go swimming, a beach. If you can't find any of that, sorry, buddy, that you live in fucking Africa. I'm just fucking around, okay? But what I mean is, just if you don't find that, just fucking pour yourself a glass of water and look at that water. And it really calms you down, I think. And it calms you down saying that the universe is there and it is beautiful and I am centered and I am here. That's what we're going to lead it on. I don't think the internet theory might be bad and it might be devastating on the internet, but there's always the real life and we can always conquer this reality, this life outside. We can build. We can still build. We can still build houses in the woods like fucking Ted Kaczynski if we really wanted to. We can build this shit, right? It all came from the ground. So that's where we're going to lead us. We are powerful. We are the masters of our own sort of universe in a way. And that these bots can't fucking put us down. Bring over all of the bots. All of the bots. I can fucking face them head on, right? Give me the Tesla bot. I'll fucking knock his ass down. It'll be done, bro. It'll be fucking, it's over. It's Jover, rather. So thank you so much for watching. This has been quite a lengthy endeavor, but hopefully you enjoyed yourself and hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully you enjoyed this exploration of this theory that hopefully ended on some sort of a positive note. And that is, you can control, the internet might be doomed, but your life isn't, because there's so much more than the internet. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a good day. And thank you so much.